Welcome to the final video in the Unity Creating a Shoot 'em Up series. We're going to finish up the games, so without further ado, let's get started. So since the last time, I created this battery. It kind of looks like a Duracell battery, and this is going to be our extra lives. So when you blow up a ship, there's going to be a small chance that they can drop a battery, which will then give you an extra life, and then your extra lives will appear in the top of the screen. So let's begin. Just drag and drop whatever battery sprite you want to use. Go to Add Component, Physics 2D, create a box collider. Now go to Edit Collider and adjust the collider accordingly. Okay, once you have it about right, make sure it's a trigger and you can finish editing it. We're going to call it battery and put it into our prefabs. So just drag it into our prefabs. And we have all of our prefabs here. I'm also going to put the button functions prefab there too. So now you're going to want to make a script for our battery. And we're also going to want to edit a script on our player. So create a new component. We're going to call it battery. And we'll open that up. And while that loads, I'm going to work on our canvas a little bit. So click on your canvas you have in the background. It's actually loading up MonoDevelop right now. Let it finish that. Okay. So click on your canvas and now press F while you're on your scene view and it will show you your entire canvas. Oh, I'm on the title screen right now. We're gonna want to go to the our actual game. So we're gonna go to the game. Here we go. So now on this canvas here, we're gonna create our text in the top. So we're gonna Control D to copy our score text, drag it down a little bit. Rename it to lives, a little space after, and now we're going to take our other text that has our score, we're going to copy it, move it down the same distance about, so it looks good, and we're going to go down to our player pref script and we're going to name this lives and our nickname down here, and we can apply the changes to our canvas now. So inside our battery class, wherever that may be. Here it is. So inside here, we're going to use a very simple onTrigger enter statement. So void onTrigger enter 2D collider 2D col if col.gameObject.tag is equal to player. Then we're going to do something, but we're not going to do anything yet. We have to actually create what we're doing. So if we go to our players, I don't know if we have that open. Spaceship, here it is. So if we go to our spaceship, we're going to need to make public void add life. And that's just going to take our lives and add them up. Now our lives are going to be unlike our health, our lives are going to be completely different. Unless we just want to add health with the battery. Actually, you know what? We're going to add health with the battery, not lives. Add health. Okay. And when we add health, it's going to very simply take our health and add it up. And at the same time, we're going to update our player prefs health thing. So we're going to do player prefs dot setInt. I believe it's called lives in there, but we're going to change the health now, and we're going to set that into our health. So we'll update that. And we're also going to put this in our start. We have a start. We actually don't, so we can actually make a void start now. We're just going to set our health to our health. Only at the start, though. So now whenever we add health, it updates our health, and whenever we lose health now, we want to update our health. So there you go. We go back to our Unity thing and edit our lives, which we're now going to make be our health. Like so. Pull out this box so all of it displays, and we can now move our other box over a bit. Like so. There we go. We're going to make this display our health now. We'll apply our changes to our canvas. And now when we go back to our battery, we can call that public void add health. So we get our col.gameObject.getComponent spaceship And now we're going to add health. And now when we touch these batteries, they will add health. As easy as that. And also, when we touch them, we want them to destroy themselves. That's all there is to them. They don't need a start or anything. They just kind of exist as triggers that give us health. So now we need to spawn them in when an enemy dies. So to do that, we're going to need to edit our enemy class. So we're going to need a new public game object called battery. Now on their death and their die function, before they die, we're going to have a chance. So if random.range, and then this is the chance you want. So 0 to, we'll say it's a 1 in 3 chance, right? Or 1 in, so the first number is inclusive, the second number is exclusive. So 0 to 2 would actually be 0 and 1, making it a 50% chance. So doing 0 and 3 will make it a 1/3 chance. So random.range that, we're going to cast it to an int 2. If that is equal to 0, that's a 1 in 3 chance. If you want to make it different, then you can make this 4, make it a 1 in 4, and so on. So if that equals 0, then we're going to instantiate a battery wherever we die. So we're actually just going to copy exactly this, but with battery. And that's perfect. So now whenever something dies, there's a 1 in 3 chance that it'll actually drop a battery. And to make sure that all of our spaceships, all of our enemies have this, we're going to select them all using control and clicking on them. Go down to our battery over here, and we're going to change that now to the battery. And now when we get into our game, it will display our health, which is displaying our score for some reason. I'm assuming it's because I forgot to change something. I must not be using name. My player text. That's my guess. I must have. Okay, a get int score should actually be get int name. Oops, made that mistake in a while. A couple videos back. So now it should display our score and our name. We just have to make sure that this text here for our score is set to score. Now we can apply our changes. So now we have our health is 3, our score is that much. And as we play the game, when we take damage, like just then, our health will actually go down. So now we only have 1 health. And we got a battery. When we collect it, we have 2 health, but I wasted it. So there you go. Now we can collect health. And that will help us on our journey fighting off these enemies. They're pretty common. You can make them however rare you want them to be. And you can do this however you want to, feel free. I encourage that you actually change a lot of the stuff and incorporate your own ideas into it. You could even use a lot of the stuff I showed you to make bullets that shoot health or anything like that. Really up to you. Make the game your own, you know? But there you go. Any enemy can drop a little health canister now. So it's actually a lot easier to stay alive. You can exceed your health over 3 if you're good at collecting them and get a super high score. There you go. Let me take a sip of water real quick, and then we'll do high scores. Okay. So once the character dies, we're going to want to wait a little bit, but then we're going to load up a new scene, which will be our end credit scene, where it says like game over, your score was whatever, and so on. So we're going to do a new object, so Control-Shift-N, and we're going to call it our Death Manager. And we're going to create a new component. We're going to call it Death Manager. And this is going to be very simple. It's just going to decide what to do when your player dies. Here's as though Scripter froze. I don't know what that was. Death Manager. There you go. So if you want to make it so your character can have more than 1 life, or more lives, then you can do that all in the Death Manager here. But basically what we're going to do is have a void update here, and actually on void start, why I deleted that, we're going to need to find a game object. So we're going to call game object player here. And now player is going to be equal to get component my bad, game object dot find game object with tag player. So that's going to look for the game object with our player. It's going to find it, and that's going to set it equal to player. So as long as our player is in the game and he hasn't been destroyed yet, this statement will be true. So if player is not equal to null, that statement's true, right? So we want to flip it now. So if our player is null, as in if it's destroyed, then we're going to do whatever we would normally do. So we're going to call like the death function basically. In our case, we're going to start a coroutine, but we're only going to call it once. So we're going to actually do this very sloppily. And we're going to call it the death method maybe. So Boolean death method equals false, right? Then we're going to call this game over or something. I don't know. How about we'll just call it game over. So we have our void game over, which is called once our player has died. And then immediately when game over is called, game over is equal to false, or true in this case actually, right? And now our statement up here that's going to be calling game over needs to have that check in it. So basically, if the player doesn't exist and game over is not equal to true, so if not not game over, then it will call game over. So if we haven't already called this function yet and our player is dead, then it will call it. Otherwise, it only will call it once. This is because update runs once every frame. We don't want it to call the game over function every frame after you die. So after that, we're going to start a coroutine. But first, we're going to make our IEnumerator, and we're going to call it load game over something. And we're going to start our coroutine, and we're going to start load game over. Easy as that. So we're going to start our load game over, and that's going to have our yield return whatever the hell. I always forget this. You've been following, you know, trust me. So it's right over here, yield return new wait for seconds. Yield return new wait for seconds. Okay. We're going to go back to our death manager. Here it is. And we're going to wait however long we want to wait in between after we die and it loads the next scene. I'm going to do 3 seconds. And now it's going to, using scene manager, it's going to load the next scene. So using Unity engine.scene manager for management. And now we're going to call scene manager dot load scene, and we're going to load the scene after this one, which is going to be our scene manager, or we can just call the index, which will be 2. I guess that's easier to teach because it's a beginner tutorial. So we're going to load scene 2. If I go over to our file build settings, title screen 0, space scene is 1, our game over screen will be scene 2. So once our character dies, it will load the scene after 2 seconds. It looks like I'm getting some sort of an error though. Although it doesn't look like something I can control. So when I kill myself, we'll load scene 2 after a little bit. That's what the death manager does. But we need to actually make scene 2. So to make scene 2, I'm going to copy the space scene with Control D. And we're going to call it game over. We're going to delete everything except for our background. Because, and our canvas, because that's all we really need. Keep the event system too. Event system is important. We don't need our ship. We also need our main camera. So we need the main camera, background, canvas, and event system. Now we're left with this cool space background in our canvas. And we're just going to do, real quick, we're going to do a title, something like this. Something in the middle. We're going to center out our text, and we're going to call it game over. We can delete this, break it from its prefab. There you go. Game over, and then we'll have like your high score is this, actually. Let me bring that back. Put this in the middle. We'll center it out, make it nice and big, because this is your high score. Maybe even change the color. There you go. Your high score will go here, so we'll change it to score. and then we'll have like a play again button. But for now, that will work. So go to our build settings, drop in our game over screen after space. Now when we go to space and play it, if we die, we should go to our game over screen. Oh, I actually flipped these two. My bad. When I duplicated it, I accidentally edited the old one. There we go. Flip them back. Just make sure we go to our build settings. We made that mistake too. I'm sorry. When you duplicate something, you got to make sure to open the new scene, even though they look exactly the same. We're on our space scene, and we'll just kill ourselves nice and easy. There you go. Should take about 2 seconds, and now we're on our game over screen, where it has our score. And we can put our play again button or whatever we want. So we can also put our high score here. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. We're going to do it in our game over screen, actually. In our death manager, my bad. So once game over is called, if our player prefs dot get int score is greater than our player prefs dot get int, and then we're going to call it our high score, then that means that we got a bigger score, right? So now we just need to do player prefs dot set int high score to our player prefs dot get int score, and that will update our high score very easily. And now all we have to do is display our high score in our game over screen. We'll go to our game over screen. We'll take this number, and then we'll copy it under maybe, and then we'll maybe take our game over here, make that a little bit bigger. So we'll say our game over is like that big. Make it a little bit smaller now. That's our score. There you go. And now we'll copy that. Put our high score here. And there you go. Now all we need is a play again button or return to title screen or quit, whatever you prefer. So I'm going to go to UI, create a button. I actually want it to be a button that's like the ones on our title screen. So I'm going to go to our title screen here, go to our canvas here, and I think you can just copy a button from here with Control C, go over to game over and paste it in. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, you can. Now we have that button. It says play on it. We're going to say return. And current function attached to this start. Now we're just going to make a new function in our button functions, wherever that may be. Here it is. We're going to call it public void load scene. And you could have done this for your start too if you wanted to. Doesn't matter. So int a, and that's going to load a. So there you go. It will just load whatever scene you put in. Oh, my bad. That will reset our score. We don't need to do that. We're going to load scene A. There you go. So that will just load whatever scene you put in as A. So if we go back to our button now, we go to our button functions, and we go to load scene, and we put 0 in, it will just load scene 0, which is our title screen. So we're on a game over screen. We got a score of that much. Our high score is that much. Cool. We return. Now we can play the game. And I'll purposely get a lower score by killing myself. We go to the next scene. I forgot to set my high score. My bad. We have to make sure we take our text here, set this to high score, because otherwise it's just going to display our score like the other one. But now it should work. So right now it saved our high score, and our current score is 400. And the cool thing about this is that it will actually carry out when you quit the game. So even when you quit the game, it will remember your high scores. which is cool. So now I have more points than before. I have 1,200, and now my current score is that much, my high score is that much. I play again, and I just kill myself without actually doing any shooting, and I get a worse score. Oh my god, I'm gonna get a better score now. You can't let that happen. I don't remember what the score was. There we go. 750. There you go. So our high score is the 1,200, and our score is 750. If I quit the game and reload it, it actually remembers our information. Even if I go to our title screen again and press play, and then go right to our game over screen, it will still remember that our high score is the 1,200. And there you go. That's how you make a space shooter. If you need help exporting the game, you could watch the platforming beginner tutorial, and I go over how to do that, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You just go to your build settings, edit them as needed, drag in your icons where it asks for them, and you're good. So thanks for watching. If you're a member of my club, thanks for looking up the video and watching it, learning how to do this on your own. And yeah, so have fun making games.